welcome to the first This Week in Comics of 2025. Hope you're doing very well. We're going to be diving into all sorts of goodness today, talking about the last 3 weeks worth of comics, the comics that came out on Christmas and then on New Year's, and then this week's books, as well as the big news that we are getting, not just Lobo as Jason Momoa, which is the best casting since Downey as Iron Man or Reynolds as Deadpool, but we also got that Daredevil Born Again trailer. Gonna dive into breaking that trailer down. I did a live reaction bright and early this morning over at Real Rejects, so if you want to see me live react, you can check it out over there, but if you want to hear me break it down, that's going to be right here. Also going to be talking about AGATHA Season 2, as well as talking about a certain actor returning from Iron Man into Vision. So lots of stuff from the big two today in the adaptation world, as well as the comics themselves. If you're new to this page, please hit that subscription bell. We're probably going to hit 42K within the week, maybe within the day. We're very, very close. And when we get to 50K, I'm going to do a 50 comic giveaway, sending out 50 comic books I enjoy, to someone that follows me when we hit 50K. So please hit that subscription bell. Also hit the like so the algorithm knows you like this. Lives are tricky on replay, so if you can hit the like if you're watching this later or now, that would mean a lot to me. And most of all, let's have a conversation in the comments below. I want this page, this whole page, whether it's a movie review or a TV review or any of the other things I do, to feel like the back of a comic store. In that, everyone there has a sense of community and we can respectfully agree, disagree, and have conversations. That's what I want that comment bar to be. Also, if you are new to this page or know this page, I'm really bad at plugging my Patreon. I have a Patreon where I break down all the comics I read that week, all the new ones anyway. I read about 50 to 70 comics a week. The new books, which mark about 40 to 50 of those books, I give letter grades to. So if you want to know the books other than the top 9 of each week that I'm going to give you in this show, you can check out my Patreon where I rate A, B, C, B minus, B plus, etc., all the way down to F for every single comic I read from DC, Marvel, Image, Dynamite, Boom. So I might be able to save you some money because it's like $5 or whatever you want to throw at it. $5 and up for my Patreon. So check out patreon.com/CoyJandro. And last plug, this is a very plug-heavy episode to start the year. I always forget I've got a podcast, Koicast. Check it out. Anywhere you stream your podcast. We just started doing video. So if you want even more me, if you're not sick of me at Real Rejects and Capes and Cowls and here on this page, well, boy, oh boy, you can have me in your ear holes too, as well as your eye holes. So check out Koicast. It's been going for 5 years. I think I've plugged it twice. I should do that more. I even got merch. Look, here's a mug in my face. Let's talk about the news, you lovelies. Enough plugs. 2025, those are the plugs for the year. Let's talk about Daredevil. We got a Born Again trailer. I had seen footage at D23. I had seen footage out of New York Comic Con, so I had seen a decent amount of Daredevil Born Again tone, but this was the first trailer that really gave us a sense of story. And to me, this story looks really interesting because of the element of adding Muse to it. Now, Muse is an incredible character from the Charles Soule run of Daredevil. That's Daredevil Volume 5, which that sounds intimidating and confusing, but it's just when they renumbered Daredevil for the 5th time to give it a new number 1, and this happened in 2016. I think the actual renumbering happened in 2015, but if you look at Daredevil, parentheses, 2015 or 16, and find that number 1, written by Charles Soule and illustrated by Ron Garney, that's going to be the arc, that journey that brings you to Muse. Now, Muse first appears about 2 years into this run, and he only appears for a couple years. I think his first appearance is in issue number 30, and he only goes up till the run ends at issue 600 because of legacy numbering. That's a longer conversation. But there's only about 20 issues with Muse in them, and he's a fascinating character because he is an artist that is inspired by the art of death. And the way he sees the world is the muse of murder and of making art from his corpses. What I think this is going to be is it's Born Again, right? There is a character in Matt Murdock that loves his city in his way, and there's a character in Wilson Fisk that loves his city in his way. Now, we're being born again in a myriad of ways. We're born again having this show go from Netflix, born again into Disney. We're being born again from having this character gone from 10 years and joining the MCU proper. We're being born again in having these characters see themselves differently, and Daredevil, the character himself, is retired in the show. There's a line of dialogue about him retiring because he went too far, he crossed a line, and he's born again into this new iteration of Daredevil. What I think is interesting is using the character of Muse, he's going to see the city in a third way. So you're going to have basically the mayor, Wilson Fisk, Mayor Fisk, going up against Vigilante Matt Murdock slash Daredevil slash lawyer Matt Murdock, and then this third entity that's going to see the city his own way. And that's going to be a beautiful juxtaposition to these other seasons where it's been these two guys head to head. I'm really curious what Muse, this chaos element of violence, bring to the fray, and how much that character is going to mirror Punisher or not. We also saw Punisher in the trailer. We got Karen Page and Foggy Nelson back. We have the Avocados at Law. We have them all back together. I'm so excited. Save Daredevil was a campaign that meant so much to me, and I can't believe it actually worked. We're back, season 4, effectively, of the show. There was a full show, like, you know, mapped out and planned in some shot that was going to be like, you know, a 30-minute comedy, a Spin City type show, and then they retooled this entire thing to be much more like the Netflix series, even bringing back Wilson Bethel. Now, Wilson Bethel played Bullseye, and the last time we saw him in season 3, he'd been paralyzed, and he's walking in this trailer. So I'm really curious if that surgery we saw at the very end, if that made an even better of an assassin, if that's going to be using adamantium, because adamantium is introduced next month in February with Captain America Brave New World, and then mere weeks later we get Daredevil. So I'd love to see, that's total tinfoil hat theory, but maybe adamantium comes to play. Also, we see a line of helmets, of different costumes in this trailer, and they feel like all sorts of different arcs from the show. The She-Hulk yellow suit nod, which was way back to Daredevil's early days in the 60s. We see the gray suit, which reminds me of other parts of the Charles Soule run. I definitely recommend checking out Charles Soule and Ron Garney 1. It's incredible, but also Chip Zdarsky. This feels like it's going to be some of the Chip Zdarsky stuff as well. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in this trailer. I did want to also talk about a couple Easter eggs I noticed. You guys know I don't love Easter egg videos just for Easter egg videos' sake. I like art to be appreciated, not dissected. It's just how I see things. But two things I noticed when I was looking closely at the actual trailer, in the shot of Mayor Fisk taking over Times Square. And I'm going to get to everyone's Super Chat and Streamlabs. I never end a stream without checking those. So if you have any questions, Super Chat and Streamlabs, I promise you I'm going to get to those. But in the Times Square Mayor Fisk moment, if you zoom in, I think it's on the right side, there is a shot of Harlem's Paradise. Harlem's Paradise is the club from Luke Cage. And that, to me, is the biggest tease ever for a potential Luke Cage appearance, or the Defenders in general. I don't know if you can see that there, but that is the logo and sign for Harlem's Paradise in Times Square with Mayor Fisk, and that is very exciting to me. We also got another little tiny Easter egg I enjoyed, making this feel much more like it's part of the greater MCU. This is one of the signs, and if you look closely at the top, that is Hope Van Dyne. That is the Pym Van Dyne logo tying us right into Ant-Man. That is very exciting to me because this is the first time we have everything in one universe all locked in together. I really, really hope this actually allows us to be in the greater MCU as one entity. Very freaking stoked to see all that put together. So Hope Van Dyne and Luke Cage's own great club from the show gives me lots of hope for great tie-ins and things going forward. I talked about Muse. I also want to talk about White Tiger a little bit. White Tiger is the other character in all white we see masking up. Muse has the blood running down the eyes. White Tiger looks a bit more like a white tiger. That's another vigilante. It's also his sister in the comic books. I'm wondering if we're going to have White Tiger maybe not make it. Something involving Mayor Fisk, but White Tiger is a vigilante in Harlem / Hell's Kitchen / New York as well. Mentioned Punisher, Foggy, and Karen. Mentioned the multiple masks. Also, I'm wondering if that is Heather Glenn that he's dancing with. It is an unnamed, as of yet, love interest. Curious how that goes over with Karen. But that character, if it's Heather Glenn, kills herself after developing really bad alcoholism, and there's a very dark storyline with her. And I could see with this mirroring the original Frank Miller Born Again, if she kind of takes the Karen Page spot, and that is a bit of a line crossed and darkness for Matt Murdock, because Matt Murdock's life does not go well very often. So I'm curious if that is Heather Glenn. Time will tell. We will see. I would love to know, you lovelies, what you thought of the trailer. That is some of the things I noticed in my second watch. You can see my initial reaction over at Real Rejects, as I said, but I do think Muse is going to add a very visual element to the rebirth, tying into all this. I do think there is a potential for Defender stuff because that Luke Cage tiny little detail. This is directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, two powerhouse directors who I really adore. They did Loki season 2. They did half of Moon Knight. They're also responsible for a ton of incredible indie film that I highly recommend you check out. If you only watch like superhero cape stuff, if you want to venture out into some weirdness without it being beholden to continuity, check out Justin and Aaron's filmography. Geniuses, madmen, delights, friends of mine. They're great, and I really think what they're going to bring to Daredevil is going to elevate it even more than it already being tied to the MCU. He's a really good lawyer, and he's got really great directors. Very excited about this. Let me know in the chat. I'm going to quickly check out the chat and get to those two. I think I saw 2 super chats come through. I want to make sure I get to those. And then we are going to dive into Supergirl and Lobo goodness. In the live chat, we've got one from Douglas McKinney, Darth Vader. Before I even read this, happy birthday, man. I think it's today. I know it's this week. No, it's today. It's the 15th. I think it's today. Happy birthday, man. Are you still going home for your traditional late Christmas? I hope you get to see your family soon and all is well. I got my monthly shipment of comics in time for some birthday reading tonight. Yes, it is your birthday. FF and Ultimate Spidey, top of the list. Dude, those 2 books are absolutely incredible. Everyone in the chat, before I keep going, wish this gentleman and a scholar, Douglas McKinney, a happy birthday. He's one of my favorite people on the internet. He's an absolute delight. Those are 2 of my favorite books, period. I'm so glad you got your books in time for some sweet, sweet birthday reading that makes me happy. I am finally going home for Christmas. Things have been rescheduled so much. The fires have been crazy. I just got back home. A work scheduling shift happened on top of all that. So things are in complete disarray, but blissfully next week on Tuesday, I'm going to go see my family for like 4 days. So next week, there might be a live stream Monday. There might not, but next week might be a dark week. A lot of people have been liking my my Blu-ray tour. I've been going through letter by letter each of the Blu-rays, so I might have time to pre-film some of those, and I'm hoping if I get enough of them out, they'll grow. They do not do very well. People are not responding, but the people that are responding are hyper passionate, so I want to make sure the people that are in there are still loving it, so I might do a bunch of those while I'm gone next week. Schedule depending, but I'm very excited to see my family, but I don't want this page to be dead for a week, so I might get some pre-filmed stuff done, but I appreciate that very much. I cannot wait to see them. Thank you, and that should be next week, and happy birthday, man. You're an absolute delight. We've also got one from Christian Unpronounceable. Hey, Koi, hope you guys can get back to some semblance of normalcy soon. Lots of love and hugs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been a lot. Not how I wanted to start out 2025, but we're good. We are way better off than those people, and now I know exactly in an emergency what to grab. My comics and vinyl are still in storage, and now I know when I look around my place, and hey, it's good for Marie Kondoing. I'm gonna get rid of some more stuff that wasn't peak essential, make some more space. But yeah, it wasn't fun. I'm just trying to make lemonade out of a horrible situation, but we are the lucky ones. There are so many people not in this position of having a home, and my heart goes out to LA. It has been a really, really trying time here in Los Angeles, and at the same time, it's really beautiful to see people come together and community forming, and a lot of people hate LA, and it's really cool to see people in LA that everyone thinks LA is fake, but when push comes to shove, people are rallying, people are helping each other, people are making community, and it's really beautiful. So thank you very much for the well wishes, and yeah, onward and upward in 2025, because that was a hell of a way to kick it off. Over to Supergirl, which is now filming, I believe as of yesterday, if you're watching this live. I found out it was official via Tom King's Instagram. I don't trust anything unless someone actually unless the call's coming from inside the house. Tom King is the writer of the original comic book. If you've never read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, I could not recommend it more. It is illustrated by Bilks Evely. It is written by Tom King, and it is literally one of my favorite DC comics of all time. And it's recent. It's only like 5 or 6 years old. So the fact that it's that good, that it's being adapted so quickly because it's universally loved, and the fact that it is a very approachable book. There is no continuity required. You could never have read a comic at all. You don't have to read any Supergirl or any comic ever in general to understand this book. It is sensational. Imagine if Star Wars had a baby with like superhero comics, and it was a True Grit-esque Western in space. So you got your Western sensibilities, you got your cosmic Star Wars, and it's set in a world of capes. And in addition to it filming this week over in London, it is officially also starring Jason Momoa as Lobo. Now, this is crazy because Lobo is basically what Aquaman became like a diet version of, because Lobo is Jason Momoa. Like, the character is him in the same way that Ryan Reynolds and Van Wilder is Deadpool in college. Ryan Reynolds in Waiting is Deadpool works at a restaurant. Like, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, and so is Jason Momoa as Lobo. This is such good casting. The dude is a cigar-chomping, motorcycle, space cycle, Santa-fighting madman. He's a Zarnian from a planet where every other Zarnian is dead in most continuities, and he's the last one, the main man. And he's an insane alien as strong as Superman, but has no morals, no ethics. He's a mercenary. He does what he wants, for who he wants, however he wants, and he precedes Deadpool. He's got a lot of Deadpool sensibilities, but he actually came a bit first. So if you like that wisecracking, irreverent, mercenary character, you'll love Lobo, and Jason Momoa is him, so him being cast is very exciting. This cast is crazy. Millie Alcock is our Supergirl. She's perfect. Matthias Schoenaerts is our bad guy. He is of the Red Hills. I forget his first name, but something of the Red Hills. I don't have notes in front of me. And he's an absolute force in the comic book, and Matthias is perfectly cast. The little girl they cast as the little girl who you follow along with is so perfect. Basically, the story is a little girl is orphaned and vows to kill the guy, played by Matthias Schoenaerts, that killed her parents. And instead of letting that burden be on this little girl, Supergirl, who is this hardened, grew up on an asteroid badass, vows to take on this mantle and goes to take him out herself, and the little girl goes along with. So it's very True Grit, but with lots of cosmic madness and incredible writing and a lot of monologuing about the beauty of the world and the cosmos and being alive. Highly recommend you check it out. And Lobo was actually in the original script of the comic and was cut for timing, I believe. I'm not sure why he was cut, but I know he was in the original draft. So him coming back in is exciting. So Tom King is very excited for these to kick off. It's his baby. It's 12 issues. Highly recommend it. Check out Supergirl. It's not very long, very approachable, really good stuff. Started filming, and Jason Momoa is Lobo, and I could not be more excited. Also, there's a great Lobo versus Santa Claus comic. Very timely. If you want to check out some good Lobo reading, check out the DC comic Lobo versus Santa. It is delightful. That is my hype. Thank you, Krim of the Red Hills. I knew the chat would have my back. I appreciate it, Ash. I did not have it right in front of me, and Krim was not coming to me. It's funny, I can remember a lot of stuff, like if I give myself a sentence of thinking, sometimes it comes to me, but that one did not. Loving all the happy birthdays given in the chat. I appreciate that. Captain Ash with the super chat saying, "Hey Coy, love to see you. Live streams are back. Here's my obligatory donation to the house fund. Hopefully you and your loved ones are safe." We are safe. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was not a fun week, but things are much more contained out here in LA. I think the biggest fire is almost 20% contained, and that just means the perimeter is completely out. And I think the helicopter drops have been so successful, they're feeling a lot more confident. And the one to the east of us, there's an eastern fire way over there that is, I think, 40% container. It's something great. So things are getting much, much better, and we are safe, and I appreciate that very, very, very dearly. And I appreciate the super chat. Rick Costa coming in with the thoughts and prayers to all in and near LA. Thank you, man. Good to see you. I appreciate that very, very much. Everyone in the chat wishing birthdays and saying hellos and positive tidings makes me very happy. Also, an update from DC Studio Showcase. That is the DC show I've been doing over on Max, and it also airs on the Max's YouTube. But they were astounded at the positivity of our comic community that we bring. This koi pond is so positive. It has been really wonderful to see the comic side of the comic community get to see their stuff get some love directly, because comics can be really toxic. Like, it's an underdog community that kind of got punched down on, and a lot of people are angry in the comic community, and a lot of times I don't even like getting into like Reddit message boards and YouTube comments and stuff, because it can be an angry pocket. But you guys have been amazing, and they even noticed how positive our community is, so thank you for making me look good. You guys are fantastic, and I really appreciate you being good comic nerds. It means a lot to me. All right, from Lobo over to Penguin. It's been a week, but it's been the longest week in LA ever. I think it's literally only been 9 days. Only last Sunday, were the Golden Globes. It feels like a year ago, but at those Golden Globes, Colin Farrell was given the Best Actor Golden Globe for The Penguin. I am so happy that not only was that performance well worthy, and Kristen Milioti should have gotten hers, but not only was that performance well worthy, but it's so cool that comics are not only finally getting their time to shine awards-wise, they deserve a lot more. Angela Bassett should have gotten it for Wakanda Forever for sure, but I think it's so cool that Batman is like the guiding light, like the thing that breaks the barriers. Heath Ledger as the Joker was the first Best Actor to be to a comic thing. Joaquin Phoenix followed it, also playing the Joker, and now the Penguin is Golden Globe winner. Hopefully he gets shortlisted for the Oscars, but we're getting there. We're chipping away at these prestigious institutions, not thumbing their noses at comic stuff. This is beautiful art being made, and the performances are amazing. The Penguin, every performance in that, whether it's Kristen Milioti, Colin Farrell, or Renzi Feliz, well-deserving. Such incredible performances, and all the supporting cast. Amazing. Colin Farrell getting a Golden Globe is just another barrier broken down, and I think it's well-deserved, and I just wanted to give it some love. It made me very happy. And also, at that same ceremony, Matt Reeves confirmed not only are they starting to film the Batman 2 this year, but they're going to be doing a Penguin Season 2, according to him, and I trust him, because he's, overseeing that whole corner of his epic crime saga. So that's very exciting. The show went so well. Season 2 of that. And speaking of season 2s, over at Marvel, we're getting an Agatha season 2. This snuck up on me. I saw a tweet that the showrunner, Jack Schaefer, had said they're trying to get it filmed this year to get it out in 2026. So we're going to have another season of Agatha, if all goes well. Very exciting stuff. Everything's moving and grooving in the world of comic adaptations, and it makes me really happy to see the love being shown, being reciprocated, and art being rewarded. Like I always say, vote with your wallets. If you want a movie to do well, see it in the theater. If you want these shows to do well, tell your friends, get the word of mouth out, get ratings up. This is how we let people know that are making this art. We support them, and we get season 2s of stuff. So we're getting a season 2 of Agatha, hopefully 2026, and we're getting a season 2 of The Penguin at some point. Both very exciting. And while we're talking about Marvel TV shows, Farron Tahir, who was in the first Iron Man, 2008, will be reprising his role 18 years later. He was one of the military folk in the beginning of Iron Man 1. He's going to be reprising his role in the Vision series that comes out next year. So it'll be 18 years. It'll be a full adult from the time. Someone that was born that year can vote by the time he reprises his role. That's crazy how long the MCU has been going and bringing these actors back. It makes me happy. The continuity and this shared universe we built, absolutely insane. Fills me with joy. So that is going to do it for the news. I'm going to quickly check on this chat real quick, and then I'm going to dive into the comics. If I said at the top, but if you're new to this show, this to me is about the comics themselves. We talk about the headlines, we talk about the movies, we talk about the adaptations in TV, but there's not a lot of shows that talk about the comic books, and I read like 50 to 70 comics a week. This week I read about 130 because I was making up for when I was on holiday, not really taking a holiday, but when I was working through my best of lists, I fell behind, and then with the fires I fell behind. So I've read a ton this week, but of that 130, about 90 were new and 40 were stuff that I wanted to reread as Supergirl is ramping up, as these different DC properties are ramping up. I'm reading a lot of 70s and 80s comics that I'm trying to refresh my memory on these characters that are forming. So a lot of comics that are really great right now. So we're going to go over the last 3 weeks in books. I haven't read the comics from last week yet. I haven't read the comics from January 8th. So we're going to go over the best comics from the week of December 18th, December 25th, and New Year's on January 1st. All my favorites from those weeks. But first, Chris Fields asks, just finished Absolute Edition of Superman for all seasons. Thanks for the rec, Coy. That makes me so, what a perfect tangent. This is why we do comic-focused stuff here. If no one is out there letting you know what the good stuff is, I get how intimidating a comic store can be. It is a lot when you walk in and there's just covers and numbers and chaos. So I really love when I can hone in on some of the best stuff and get people in the door, in the store, and reading some of my faves. The Absolute Edition is a beautiful edition of Superman for all seasons. It is Jeff Loeb written, Tim Sale art, and that Tim Sale art sings in that beauty Absolute Edition, and I think it's one of the best Superman stories ever told. I think it's going to be integral for the tone that James Gunn is building for his world. So if you want to check out some Superman, do as Chris Fields did. Check out the Superman for all seasons, and definitely check out the Absolute Edition if you can. All right. Let's see here. I love the Storm book too, Eddie. Hello, Kevin. I read 130 by not resting or having free time. When you look at my eyes in the Daredevil video over at Real Rejects, everyone was like, Koi's so stoned. No, Koi's so sleepy. Who has time to sleep or rest or live when there are comics to be read? One day I'll rest. Today is not that day. But I love sharing these recommendations with you guys, especially when people like Chris Fields tell me they've read them and enjoyed them. It makes it all worth it. Stephanie Litz says, I want Jessica Jones back. All 3 seasons are fire, in my opinion. Stephanie Litz, I am with you 2/3 of the way. I really, really love season 1, and I really, really love season 3. Season 2 dipped a bit for me. It's not bad, but it's not, to me, as exceptional as 1 and 3. So I'm going to give you 2 out of 3 being exceptional, and one of them, that being season 2, being good. But I really love Jessica Jones, and I'd love to see her back as well. I am with you. News Storm today was my pick of the week. Ash said it was incredible. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I have not read today's, because it's today, nor have I read all of them from the 8th. So what's going to happen is, if all goes well, I'm going to do another live stream on Monday. I leave for my long-delayed Christmas. I haven't had Christmas with my family yet. I leave for my Christmas on Tuesday. If all goes well, I'm going to read all of the 8th and all of the 15th comics, which is going to be about 80 books before Monday, and I'll do a live stream, and we'll be all caught up. And then when I'm back, I'm going to catch up on the comics from the 22nd, 29th, and be good to go for February. So bear with me, we're catching up. But in the meantime, from the week of December 18th, we have my favorite books. I even pulled images for you, lovelies. We got Absolute Batman #3, continuing the insanely great Absolute run. Batman is a delight. I was worried at first about Bruce Wayne being friends with some of his villains. This issue made me more comfortable with that. But to go a little quicker just because of the abundance of stuff I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. We've also got Batman and Robin Year 1 #3, art by Chris Samney of incredible Firepower fame, and powerhouse artist. He's so freaking good, works with Kirkman a lot. Here, he's working with Mark Waid, and this is such a great jumping on point. If you like Batman and Robin, check out this Year 1. It's only 3 issues in, and it is sensational. Speaking of Batman and someone, Batman and Superman, World's Finest, also by Mark Waid, issue #34. It is so very good, so very fun, so very classic DC. My favorite Fantastic Four run of all time hits issue 27. This again is 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks old now, but 3.5 weeks old. Highly recommend this Fantastic Four run. I think it's the best Fantastic Four has ever been. Also from that week, the 18th, New Gods #1, written by Ram V. If you don't know the New Gods, this is a very good jumping on point. They're the weirdest little pocket of approachable DC. There's weirder DC, but Mr. Miracle and stuff of that ilk in the world of New Gods, beautifully reintroduced by Ram V here. DC's All In is, there's 2 things happening at DC outside of main continuity that isn't Dark Black Label stuff. There's the All In, which is in main continuity, new teams and new jumping on points. And then there's Absolute, which is brand new continuity, all new stuff, very small numbers. So Nightwing All In is on issue 121 because it's in regular continuity, but it's only 4 issues into this new team, and it's amazing. Every issue has been just as good as the Tom Taylor stuff. Highly recommend Nightwing 121. Over to independent stuff from Image Comics, we've got the Tin Can Society. This is issue 4 of 9. It's a miniseries. Imagine if Iron Man was paralyzed and built the suit to just walk and add in a lot of different cultures and different worldviews, and you mash them all together into this friend group, and you've got kind of like the Loser Society from It mixed with Iron Man. Great book. Really digging it. And it's only 9 issues. Then we've got consistently one of my favorite books of the week, Ultimate Spider-Man, issue #12 is incredible dialogue, beautiful tension, beautiful world building, great uses of these characters. Love it, love it, love it. Likewise, great dialogue. I've been loving this Tom King Wonder Woman run, and it is so empowering, so intelligent, so violent in its language. And this issue features Detective Chimp, one of my favorite characters of all time. Detective Chimp in a Wonder Woman book fills me with such joy. Those are my favorite books from December 18th. Then let's go over to the 25th for Christmas after I check on a couple of these chats. We are multitasking today, folks. This week I read about 20 comics a day. I usually read about 10 comics a day to hit that 70. Usually, like I said, about 40 to 50 comics are new, and then like 10 to 20 are old. So I try to read 10 comics a day so I can keep up / read some back issue stuff. It's not easy, but I really love comics, you guys. Let's see. Mel NYC Reviews. Coy, I loved your interview. Heck, even as a gay man, I was in love with Shannon Sossman as well. LOL. She is the best. Shannon Sossman has my whole heart. First real crush. I was really, really proud of that interview. I'm not usually like fully vulnerable. I'm very much myself on my show and on Real Rejects, but I usually talk about personal stuff because it doesn't come up. Like when you're doing reviews, you don't talk about you. So that interview was trying to be me, but about me. And it was really challenging to be like me, totally exposed for 2 hours with Greg, and I really am happy with how it came out. I feel like I got a lot of articulation out of how I see movies and art and why, and how I see moral compasses and ethics and the importance of art and all that stuff. All of it's over at Real Rejects. Me and Greg sat down for a 2-hour interview. You can check it out right now. He just posted it yesterday. Check it out. I would actually love if you check it out and comment in there. I'll read it. I'm actually reading those comments. So if you could go watch that, it would mean a lot to me. I'm really proud of it, and it's different. And he and I are actually launching a movie talk show in February, I believe. And it's going to be long-form dialogue and discussion. So there's 100 movie news shows per channel. We want to do something that's a little bit more about how we feel about things versus just breaking news. So it'll be about like the effect of art and also what we think about like the filmmakers and creatives. And it's a bit more of like a thesis paper than just like a headline. So that's going to be coming in February. And this interview is kind of a gateway into that. So if you like the interview, you're going to love the new show. We're going to be launching that in February, but please check out that over at Real Rejects. I'm really proud of it, and I'd love to read your comments about it in that comment section. I don't usually read comments, but I will be there. I read you guys' comments because I trust this little community, because I ban and block everyone that's a dick. But you guys are the only community I actually read all the comments of, so head on over to Real Rejects. Check that one out. I appreciate it. Rick Costa said the interview was great. Thank you very much. Means a lot to me. I own some Golden Age comics. My comic collection starts in like 1963, 64, so I'm way more Silver Age, but I think I've got a couple Golden Age sprinkled in there. But I'm almost complete Silver Age for Spider-Man and X-Men. Someone asked, do you read them digitally, Koi? I read about 2/3 digitally, 1/3 analog. Up until this week, I had been bagging and boarding my comics while doing the news and doing the comic breakdown, and it was fun, but my comics are in storage because of the fire. So I didn't want my comics to go up in smoke, so they are not currently in my home out of fear. And boy, I tell you, loading up that many long boxes and short boxes with speed was a challenge. All right, next up from the week of Christmas from December 25th, we've got Absolute Wonder Woman #3. This issue, I think, cements the Wonder Woman title as my favorite Absolute, but I haven't read Absolute Superman from this. No, there's one more. Yeah, all the Absolute stuff's great, but I think Wonder Woman takes the cake with this issue. So good, fighting monsters, big ass sword, so badass. And then the return of Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween with issue 4. Such a great love letter to Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's original. Tim Sale passed away, unfortunately, like 2 years ago, and I love this love letter to him in the original story, and this is actually just such an incredible comic. Highly recommend. Then from Tom King, who just, I love how Tom King writes, Black Canary finally gets some time to shine with this best of the best. This is written from the perspective of comic book lore, but also boxing commentary. So she's fighting Lady Shiva, and it's a boxing ring with flashbacks. It's delightful. If you like boxing, if you like comics, it's a must read. Over in the world of Image Comics, Geiger continues to be one of my favorite new characters in years. Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, what a world they've built, what amazing characters, what interesting concepts they play with while being action-packed and glorious. First time Green Arrow has made it in a long time. Green Arrow #19, 4 issues into the All-In stuff, so not too far behind if you want to jump into Green Arrow. It's exceptional right now. Really enjoying him dealing with the turmoil of the betrayal and all the stuff that went on with Waller. Feels like a brand new take on Green Arrow that I'm really enjoying. This one is one of the biggest shifts from an issue 1 to an issue 2 for me. I didn't love issue 1, loved issue 2. Green Lantern Dark. It is illustrated by the team, or by the artist, Werther Dell'Edera, who does Something is Killing the Children, which you guys know I love, written by Tate Bromble, and it is such a cool post-apocalyptic world where the lantern's light is the only hope, and it's so badass and metal and very Something is Killing the Children-y. Then we've got Harley Quinn #46. Apparently this is a controversial comic book. I didn't know that until DC Studio Showcase comments. Apparently a lot of people hate this comic. It's been one of my favorite runs of Harley this last... There was like a year and a half I loved Harley, and then there was about a year I didn't like the writing as much, and now we're back to me loving it. This is like a hardcore anti-gentrification, don't be an asshole landlord, don't ruin your neighborhood book, and Harley Quinn being a bad girl for good reasons is my jam. Really dig this anti-gentrification book. Then we've got Void Rivals #15. A lot of you guys, when I did my end of the year list, were surprised that there were more Energon books. This is my favorite of the Energon books. Really dig the crossover, really dig the universe being built. Also digging G.I. Joe quite a bit as well. And then finally, the last book from Christmas, West Coast Avengers. I love books set on the West Coast because I live out here. It's fun to see, you know, little recognizable landmarks, everything set in New York. It's beautiful to have a West Coast Avengers book, and it's written hilariously by Jerry Duggan. He's so good at comedy. He gets these characters, he gets the world. It's a delight. So if you haven't read it, you're only 2 issues behind. Get after West Coast Avengers. Those are the books from the 25th. We've got 1 week left, you lovelies. We're going to talk about the first here in a moment after I check the live chat. All right. What Robin was that? Loving Black Canary. I don't know which Robin book is in question. The Robin book is... Oh, the Batman and Robin book. I believe... Off the top of my head, I don't remember if this is... It's not Jason Todd. I think it's Tim Drake. Or is it Young Dick Grayson? I think it's Young Dick Grayson. Yeah, it's Young Dick Grayson. So sorry. I had to go through my mind palace. It is a Young Dick Grayson. His first Robin year 1. Let's see. Geiger, Redcoat, Rook have all been fun reads. Big Jeff Johns fan. I'd love to see Coy's Amazing Spider-Man collection. I have a very fine near plus run from 168 to current 129 and a 9.0 recently, but still working my way back to 100. So I just got a #7 recently, second Vulture ever appearance, and it's in very fine minus, fine to very fine minus. And that's like it's beautiful. It's stunning. I also got my Holy Grail book recently. my earliest book is number 7, but the book I'd been hunting in quality condition, and this thing is very fine. It is stunning, it is vibrant, it is dope, is an Amazing Spider-Man 39. It is a John Romita cover. It's the unmasking of Peter Parker, and I almost bought it 5 years ago, and I should have, and I regretted it. And then for 5 years, I hunted the same caliber one, could not find one in this good a condition. Just got it, very proud of it. But I only have, I think, 25 Amazing Spider-Mans left in the world from number 1 on. 26 if you include, no. Yeah, 26 if you include Amazing Fantasy 15. I'm so close to done. I'm actually missing 129. You have a comic? I don't have. I need 129, I need 122, and then everything else is 52, 51, 50, and then sub 30. So I'm getting there. Let's see. We got a couple more super chats came in. I love the love for Shannon Sauceman. That makes me happy. And I appreciate, again, you enjoying the interview. It means a lot to me. Doe Eyes, got to go run some errands, so I'll have to catch the replay, but still wanted to send some support. Doe Eyes, thank you. I appreciate you and your doughy eyes. Here's my doe eyes back of love. I appreciate that very much, and we'll see you when you return. We've also got Gareth J. Saw your film podcast on RR channel yesterday and loved it. You mentioned the film you were most disappointed was X3. What about a film you were expecting it to be bad but turned out amazing? Oh, I love that. I love the more positive spin on that. A movie I expected to be bad but turned out to be amazing. I hadn't seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen until this year. I don't know if that reaction's up yet. I might have spoiled the thing. I hadn't seen it. I heard it was so bad that I rarely avoid movies, but I love the Alan Moore comics so much that I didn't want to ruin the comic for me, so I'd never seen it. And it wasn't good. It wasn't great. But it wasn't bad. It was like almost good. Actually, no, I'm going to say it was good. It was good, but not great. And I think that it came out when so many great movies were coming out, and I think it was misinterpreted. It's a good movie. It's not a great movie, but I had a lot of fun with League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I expected an F, and I got like a B-, and I was very happy about that. Dr. Nitrogen's Musical. I forget the rest of your name right here, but it's all cut off, but I recognize you very dearly. Dr. Nitrogen is an OOG of this channel. I love how you're protecting your comic collection, Koi, but love the fact that your place and you and your cat are all okay. Here's a little towards storage costs. Oh, that's very kind, Dr. Nitrogen. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I got my vinyl and my comics. My first priority was my loving Spidey cat who's laying in the sun just underneath the camera, basking in his glory. And me and my fiance were able to get all of the comics, the vinyl, and the stuff we felt we needed out within an hour and 7 minutes, and I'm very proud of that. We worked together very effectively, and Spidey behaved himself. He was in a little backpack, and he did awesome. So I learned that we are a very effective family in an emergency. Small stuff, I might get madder at. Big stuff, I go into hustle mode. So we got all my comics out. We got all my vinyl out. They're in storage, so I appreciate that very, very dearly. And a lot of comics I wouldn't have wanted to lose, so I appreciate that. Low by Rick Remender, I enjoy. It's not my favorite of his work. I really love Deadly Class. I really am digging Grommets, but it's Rick Remender. He's almost always great. Like, I really dig his stuff, and Low is definitely included in that. Thanks for recommending Geiger Koi. I've been loving it. Hell yeah, Dr. 14. That makes me very, very happy. Happy New Year to you as well, Christian Unpronounceable. And thank you, Dr. 14. It feels good to be safe and sound after a week of pure chaos. It's good to be back with you, lovelies. All right, the last of this episode's books to recommend is going to be These Are My Favorites from the week of the 1st, a mere 14 days ago. We were so close to caught up. We have Absolute Superman number 3. This and Wonder Woman I like slightly more than Batman. This is my favorite issue of any of the Superman so far. It is a family-centric issue. It is a badass story on Krypton. I really dug it. Avengers number 22. Jed MacKay, one of my favorite Black Cat writers, has been writing Avengers, and now he's bringing Black Cat into the fray. Makes me very, very happy. Batgirl number 3. I just think it's great. Batgirl's getting a solo book, and it's decent. It's real good. Dealing with her mom and heisty hijinks and a lot of fun. We've got Batman number 156, continuing on Chip Zdarsky's third arc. I'm liking this a lot better than his second. Really fun story dealing with Commissioner Gordon and a murder and a little bit of infidelity and the Riddler. It's a good time. Then we've got Deadpool and Wolverine number 1. I really loved this take. This is drawn beautifully by Cassara. The art in this book is stunning, and it's written by longtime writer of Ghost Rider and Wolverine, Benjamin Percy, who writes... He just writes so incredibly. I love this writer. This book is dynamic. It is action-packed. It is exactly both characters. It is my most recommended. Like, Deadpool and Spider-Man by Joe Kelly. This is the equivalent with Wolverine. Highly recommend it. Miles Morales Spider-Man, number 28. He is dealing with Bast and lots of Black Panther hijinks and vampirism. Lots going on. Poison Ivy, number 29. Again, the all-in stuff, really good jumping on point. Really digging this Poison Ivy run. All 29 issues are amazing. I'd go back to number 1. They've all been great. Saga, the penultimate issue of this arc. There's going to be a gap after 72. They're taking a little break. This issue is dynamic. It introduces so many new ideas, a lot of twists and turns, 2 big end-of-book twists, 1 mid-book, 1 end-of-book, really solid stuff. And then, of course, the Ultimates number 8, bringing us our Ultimate Guardians of the Galaxy to this new 2024, now 2025, Ultimate Universe, the Ultimates number 8 with the Guardians. Those were my favorite books from the week of January 1st. We're going to check on the live chat, and then we're going to dive into the books I recommend you check out this week for the week of January 15th. But first, let's see. Chip's reaction to the Daredevil trailer is hilarious. Oh, I haven't seen that yet. You are giving me news to check out. That makes me happy. He is just a wonderful prince. He didn't do cons for a long time. I'm glad he's back to doing them. I got to meet him years ago while Comic Book Shopping was airing, and he had just seen me recommend a ton of his books to Seth Green, and Seth still considers him like a great writer of Spider-Man, and Seth loves Spidey, so I got to tell him that. We had a great long conversation about Spider-Man. It made me happy because Chip's one of my favorites working, and his book Public Domain, good God, is that book great. All right, the way I do this is according to publisher. So the publishers I read most, whoever has the most books out that week is listed first. So this isn't favoritism or any sort of hierarchy of picks. It is literally Marvel has 15 books this week, and then DC has 13 that I'm checking out. So for the week of the 15th of January, today at your local comic book shop right now, the books I am most excited to check out are Alien Paradiso number 2, Amazing Spider-Man 65 Deaths. That is issue 65 and basically a half, so issue 65 came out last week. This is a little side mission story. Avengers Assemble number 5, Exceptional X-Men number 5, which is a Kitty Pryde-centric issue title, and it's so cool to see her reluctantly lead a team of X-Men. The Immortal Thor number 19, The Incredible Hulk number 21, Laura Kinney Wolverine number 2 fighting Elektra, Miles Morales Spider-Man number 29, Rogue the Savage Land number 1, Spirits of Vengeance number 5. We've got Star Wars The Battle of Jakku, The Last Stand number 3, Storm number 4, brand new Ultimate title with Ultimate Wolverine number 1, brand new today. If it's not sold out yet at your comic shop, I would definitely pick it up. What If Galactus Transformed Moon Knight, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 2. That's the continuity of the new show that airs at the end of the month. So if you want to get a little preamble into that show, only on issue 2 for that new little mini-series going on from Marvel. Over at DC, we've got Action Comics number 1082, Batman and Robin Year 1 number 4. Again, this book is dynamic and great. Batman and Superman World's Finest number 35. Black Lightning number 3. Really, really digging this re-upgrading continuity, like the reimagining, but for modern. Black Lightning has always been modern, but this feels like 2024. It's so good. I'm really digging this Black Lightning. Challengers of the Unknown number 2. We've got Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum number 1, brand new jumping on point for Green Lantern. Jenny Sparks number 6, really digging that book as well. We've got Milestone Universe, The Shadow Cabinet number 3. The New Gods number 2, Nice House by the Sea number 5, Nightwing 122, The Question All Along the Watchtower number 3, and finally Titans number 19. Those are all from DC Comics. Over from Dark Horse Comics, I would recommend the Anansi Boys number 7. I would recommend Behemoth number 1 because I always check out any new Image number 1. I would check out The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos number 15. And then from Boom Studios, Minor Arcana number 5. I love me some Jeff Lemire, and this is some great Jeff Lemire stuff. And that, you lovelies, is going to do it for this week's comic recommendations. Those are the books from the 15th I recommend you check out. And remember, I haven't done the 8th yet, so hopefully Monday, I'm going to read all the comics from January 8th last week, all the comics from January 15th today, and then next week we'll be caught up and I'll be able to tell you all those books. And then at the end of the month, we'll do one last live. We're going to get 3 lives this month, and then I'm going to go back to 4, and I'm going to give you my favorite comics from the 22nd and 29th. So we're going to be all caught up by the end of the month, which is my big, big goal. And then we're going into some crazy stuff. At the end of this month, we've got the new Spider-Man animated series. In the beginning of March, we've got Daredevil. We've also this year going to have a total of 9 Marvel properties, including Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Captain America. Going to cover all those in this channel. With the movies, I'm going to do a non-spoiler review as well as a spoiler review, and if there's enough Easter eggs and comic details and references as a 3rd video. With the shows, weekly videos of every single episode of all 9 of those things, including Spider-Man starting in January, and maybe going to cover Invincible as well if I have time. And then from DC, we've got Superman this year, which I'm going to do a ton of videos on. Probably some what to read videos, long form, because I think I'm going to reread some Superman stuff. And then also a non-spoiler and spoiler and comic reference video. And then Peacemaker every week from them as well. Not to mention Spider-Man Noir from Amazon and Gen V this year as well. So just in comic stuff, it's like 100 videos. Just comics. Then we've got all of the major movies this year, like Jurassic World and all that stuff. So please hit that subscription bell if you haven't already. This page is going to be like a video a day. And if you like those videos about my Blu-ray collection, please go watch, comment, like, share, because they do the worst of anything on this page, but everyone in the comments is so passionate that I really want to keep them going, but they actually hurt my other videos. If one video does really bad, it affects the next video, and it takes time to lift the algorithm back up to like base. So every time I post one of those, it dips. So I'm going to do a few more, but I need them to start doing a little better if I'm gonna keep them going. We've got some super chats. We've got one from the great Connor Mullis in here. Coy, I am so excited because my omnibus of Marvel versus DC comes in tomorrow, and I can't wait. What is the best Superman omnibus to buy? I'm the Grant Morrison one currently. Connor, you called it. I personally love the Grant Morrison stuff. I think it is very approachable, very consistent, very weird, but like, it works. I think it's solid. I would also say the Superman for All Seasons book I talked about earlier. I would also recommend, I mean, I love Tom King, so I really loved his Up in the Air stuff, which doesn't get recommended nearly enough. Those are the big three for me. Yeah, any of those are safe. I would definitely say those are safe, but that's also why I want to start rereading some of the 90s stuff I really loved. The Death of Superman I really love. The Superman that came out of it, the 4 Superman story is dynamic, but there's also 90s. I want to reread those. I really like John Byrne Superman. That'd be a good omnibus. John Byrne illustrated and written omnibus of Superman is fantastic. Try those out. I'm going to say omnibus-wise, All-Star Superman or any Grant Morrison omnibus. Superman for All Seasons, Up in the Air. No, John Byrne, then Up in the Air, and then I'll get back to you on a 5th. Those are the 4 I'd say. Mel, New York City Reviews. Coy, I'm just now hearing about what you went through. I'm glad you and your loved ones and your comics are all okay. Yeah, man, it's been crazy. But again, I'm one of the lucky ones. Like, I was in the evacuation zone, but I had the time to get my stuff out, and then I was able to return. So I was only, like, displaced for 3 days, and I'm very lucky that I had a friend that was able to help us out. So I'm in a very fortunate comparatively position than a lot of Los Angeles, and I appreciate that very, very much. Staying inside for the most part, trying not to breathe the air out here. Have not been to the gym in a week. 2, 3, fuck. I haven't been to the gym in a while, but I'm not this week because of the air quality. It's not great, but I appreciate that very, very dearly. Dr. Nitrogen coming back in. I'm flying over to Boston tomorrow, my hometown, and then up to Portland and Maine to see my girlfriend. So my next comics will be bought not in Wales, but at Coast City Comics, a great store in Portland. I have never been to Coast City, but I've actually heard of it because it is that renowned. That makes me so happy. If you're in Boston, if you have the time, Newbury Comics means a lot to me. They don't have a ton of old comics, but they're new issues. They have sometimes they have variants that are just Newbury Comics. They're also a big record store. They have a lot of great records and a lot of variants of records in the shop, and it's just a really fun pop culture store. Newbury Comics means the world to me. If you are in Boston for more than a couple hours, check out Newbury Comics. Also, I'm very jealous. I haven't been to Boston in some time, and I miss it so dearly. Yeah, that Marvel vs. DC Omni is a great pickup. I'm so glad they got the licensing settled to like re-release that stuff. It wasn't available for years, and it just now came back, so I am very happy for you, and I don't even have that one yet. Do you think the moment in No Way Home where Holland and Maguire say with great power together is based off the moment in Spider-Man, 616 Peter, and 1610 May say the same? Is it coincidence? I think it's coincidence just because there's so many moments of that type of energy coming out. It felt not like a nod. It felt like a very good logical story point, but it could be a reference. Tomasi and Gleason Omnibus is fantastic. Co-signed. I also dig that one. I haven't read that since it was not that long ago. It was only a couple years, but I haven't read that one since, but that is a great call. Really is the cheapest price on IST. I'd recommend Superman Triangle Era Omni and Death of Superman Omni are faves of mine. I haven't read the Triangle Era Omni, but Death of Superman Omni absolutely recommend V-Read. I'm with you there. We got one from Ash. Have you read Brian K. Vaughan's Spectators he released on Substack? He's releasing it physically later this year, and I think it's well worth picking up. I have not. You are letting me know about a comic I didn't know about. I'm not on Substack. The internet's so big. But Brian K. Vaughan, I love dearly. Obviously, Saga is my absolute jam, and I really love his Why the Last Man. I really dug Ex Machina, the political book he did. I will absolutely be checking that out. It is called Spectators by Brian K. Vaughan, physically released later this year. Your boy is going to absolutely check that one out. Christian Unpronounceable, always a pleasure, good sir. I will see you very soon. All right, we previewed books from today. We reviewed books from the 18th, 25th, and 1st. We talked about Lobo. We talked about Supergirl filming. We talked about Daredevil broke it down. Talked about an Iron Man casting being resumed in Vision. We talked about season 2s of Agatha and the Penguin. We talked about DC and Marvel in comic books. We talked about DC, Marvel, Image, Dynamite. Boom. We talked about comic books, you lovelies. I think that is going to do it for today. I appreciate people stopping by to say hi, and I'm glad you're safe. Thank you very much. Ned Ack Ragnarag. You know what? I wanted to do this for an hour. We got 10 more minutes. I'm going to go back to the top and see any super chats to jump out, and then we're going to go back to the bottom, make sure I didn't miss any super chats, but I wanted to make sure we got an hour of hanging out today. So, FF continue to be great. That Ultimate Fighting 12, you're in for a treat. Ash, I agree. Douglas McKinney is in for a treat. What a birthday read he is going to have. And again, happy birthday to the great Darth Vader. I'm so glad you're in here. Hayden Center is at 686 subscribers. He approaches 700. I'm very proud of that hustle, man. Hayden is always hustling. Coycast, best wishes from Canada, and great to see you're back home. Yes, I am back home, and it feels so good. And you know what? I've been talking nonstop for 50 minutes straight because you guys are ready for a late in the episode name drop? Here it is. Late episode name drop in honor of Shrinking. I finished Shrinking last night, or 2 nights ago, and it is one of the best shows. Oh my God, that show gets me in all the feels all the time. I once met Harrison Ford. We had to talk about journalism, and Harrison Ford is a delight in person. I know people are always like, hey, he's so grumpy. He's always been great to me. But we had a long conversation about journalism, and one thing he said to me rhymed, and I also got the Harrison Ford point, and it stuck in my head. And I've thought of it every time. Harrison Ford, when I told him I liked how he handled journalists, because everyone has to up their game. You have to be good at your job. You can't just float by. You have to actually be a journalist. And he's like, I got one rule. If there's dead air, it's theirs. And that's why I don't let silence happen. And because that's my responsibility to keep you guys entertained. If there's dead air, it's on me. If there's dead air, it's theirs. But in this moment, I'm going to sip this cup. There's going to be dead air. In honor of Koicast, my podcast, available wherever you stream your casts. Oh, that's nice. Hot chocolate. Oh, like good. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Everyone hit the like button. I agree. Richard Fearing, I appreciate that. Foggy was looking charming too. Ed Boy, what's up? Christian Unpronounceable, who has left since, but Galaxy Geeks, so psyched for this show. Makes me happy, Galaxy Geeks. Thanks for swinging by. Robert Pruser, good to see you. Shepard, what's up to you as well, good sir? Things are well. Love the DD trailer. Yes, hope for Luke Cage. I was very happy to see that little detail. Muse is dope. Guys, Charles Soule, Ron Garnier run. Highly recommend it. Let's see. Hi, Devin Lott. Happy birthday from Still Bill over to the ever awesome Darth Vader. Tia Foster, hello. Let's see. Douglas Kenny getting a lot of birthday love. Makes me happy. Hi, the break room. And Evan say hi. Christian Unpronounceable. I love that you're the gateway between the break room and myself. Crim of the Yellow Hills. I said the Red Hills. Thank you for the correction. Armin, Crim of the Yellow Hills. Shepard 52, you're going to enjoy the hell out of the glory that is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Guys, I tried to go all the way back, but then it disappeared. There's so many. Have I read Century? Because the Thunderbolts, what's the best comics to learn about them? There's a Century run by John Romita Jr. on art. Forget who wrote it, but John Romita Jr.'s art is fantastic on it. I would recommend that one because the art's great. I actually don't like Century that much, but I'm hoping the movie makes me like him and shows me something that I did not see. 148 people in here and only 35 likes. Ash, you got a great point. Hit the likes, you lovelies. Please. Just it's a button. That's all I ask. Thank you. Popping by to support here for the first time. Watt Real Entertainment. Got a little 1 next to your name. Thank you, man. I appreciate the first support and kindness and being here in general. Everyone that's in here, thank you. It means the world to me. I appreciate it. Evan was here. What was my favorite part of the trailer? I think it was the moment where either the conflict between Punisher and Red just reminded me of the old show so dearly. The yelling felt so like the comic book frame, like when he's yelling up at the sky. The diner scene felt like the dialogue straight out of a comic book. The scene that when it flashed and he's the mayor in Times Square, that trailer just made me happy. Just made me so happy. Too much of it to pick a favorite part. They're talking about Skeleton Crew over there. I like Skeleton Crew, okay? I reviewed it. Actually, my finale for Skeleton Crew dropped a day and a half ago. This morning, my Wolfman review dropped. I'm bringing you guys just everything. I'm trying so hard. Every 12 hours. Here's all these videos. All right, I have peeped the Sonic IDW run. It's not my favorite, but I enjoy it. Sonic, I like as a game. I like playing Sonic more than I like reading Sonic. I've just never connected to the comic as much as the game. But it's not a bad comic. It's just how I roll. The music in the trailer was cool. I agree, still, Bill. That, you lovelies, is gonna do it. If you're here an hour into this show and you're not a subscriber, I'd love you to be. Hit that subscription bell. We're gonna hit 42K within hours. We're like a couple hundred away. Hit that subscription bell. Let's get to 42K. And remember, at 50K, doing a 50 comic giveaway. And I'll announce how that's going to work when we hit like 49K. I'm probably going to do either a live stream and have everyone comment that wants to be part of it, or just pick a video and have everyone comment. But we'll figure something out. Everyone that comments that is a subscriber will be eligible for 50 comics I mail direct to you. That is going to do it with today's show. Please hit the like on the way out. If you're watching this later, like if you're watching the replay, hit a like, because it helps the algorithm know, and live streams don't do as well historically as just posts. Tomorrow, I think no new video, so this video can grow, but I think Friday, either a movie review or this Saturday is the 20th anniversary of The Game, the documentary. The Game's album, the documentary, is his debut album. I consider it one of the best hip-hop albums of all time, like in my top 50 hip-hop albums ever. It's one of the best West Coast hip albums of the last 20 years. I think it was a really big surge of West Coast appreciation, and I think obviously Kendrick has made the West Coast a force again, but I think The Game's the documentary was a huge part of that resurgence a little bit 20 years ago. I love the documentary, and it's 20 years old on Saturday. So either Friday or Saturday, I'm going to be doing a video about The Game's the documentary. I think. I haven't had time yet, but that's the goal. So lots of stuff coming at you in the next couple days, and then more letters. We're going to be doing D of my Blu-rays next on my collection video, and then, yeah, more comic stuff to come. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I will have a fun trip. Thank you very much, V-Red. I'm going to go read some comics. I hope you do the same. Let me know in the comments what you're reading, what you're liking. I'll see you guys soon. Much love. It's good to be back. I appreciate all the kind words in here. Every single person in the chat, every super chat. Thank you. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Oh yeah, and check out the Patreon.